Hello everyone, I am The Wiz, and I'm here today to review 3 more films for the year 1995 in mini form. These next 3 reviews I'm pretty excited for. 2 are independent films, and 1 is one that I have been dying to see for a long time that just went into streaming. So why don't we get ready with the first review, which is from an acclaimed Japanese director that is considered the modern day Yoshijiro Ozu. Maborosi, directed by Hirokazu Kore-eda. There's an elegant beauty in Hirokazu Kore-eda's Maborosi. We can start with the obviously gorgeous scenery in which most of the film is set. The location of a small town on the Sea of Japan has stunning greenery along with a gorgeous coastline, giving the film a grandness, even if it's about small human drama. But the real beauty is in the story itself, telling the story of a woman who has to move on when her husband tragically ends his own life. The movie shows Yukimo going through the stages of grief, but Maborosi doesn't do it in a theatrical or obvious way. The film pulls Yukimo bit by bit to opening up to her new kindly husband. And this is where the beauty of the film truly lies. Maborosi feels much more genuine about grief, letting go, and moving on than most films that tackle the subject. The film understands that it's the small details that lead someone to face their fears and want to open up rather than bursts of anger or dramatics. And Kore-eda, with his beautiful setting and focus on human nature, perfectly crystallizes the feelings of his main character. He does this with the film's slow nature and willingness to let the story be told indirectly. And when the final scenes hit, it's a powerful release that you weren't expecting the film to be bottled up throughout. Maborosi is often considered the film that made Kore-eda a director to watch, and since this is my first experience of Kore-eda, he's definitely a director I will be searching for his other films to check out. I give Maborosi 4.5 stars out of 5. Alright, and this next one is one I have been waiting a long time to see, so check it out.
See, I can get you what you want. I can get you anything. You just have to talk to me. You have to trust me, okay? Trust me. Because I'm your priest. I'm your shrink. I am your main connection to the switchboard of the souls. I'm the magic man. The Santa Claus is the subconscious. You say it. You think it. You can have it.
Strange Days, directed by Kathryn Bigelow. Strange Days has been one of those movies that I have been interested in seeing for quite a while now, but I never had a chance due to how limited it was to find on streaming. With that corrected, I can say that the concept of the film is much more interesting than the end result. The film is essentially a crime thriller whodunit with a twist. Lenny, played by Ralph Fiennes, jacks into a virtual reality-style device that plays the memories of other people. In one of the tapes he finds, he witnesses the brutal sexual assault and murder of one of his friends. The twist is actually interesting, until you realize next to nothing is done with it. They are shot incredibly well in a distorted first-person view, but all they do is provide voyeuristic scares at best. After the concept of devices and the crime is introduced, Strange Days devolves into a standard 90s action thriller. Seriously, if you have watched B-standard Arnold Schwarzenegger schlock like Eraser and The Sixth Day, that's the level you're about to watch in terms of quality. And the film's attempts at social commentary, whether it's about living vicariously through other people or the police abusing minorities, feel about ankle deep in depth at the very best. At a runtime of nearly 2.5 hours, the film tends to drag and doesn't justify its length. Seeing a bunch of incredibly talented actors like Ralph Fiennes, Juliette Lewis, Angela Bassett, Vincent D'Onofrio, Tom Sizemore, and William Fichtner all in one film was a trip to see, but they merely elevate a script that's substandard with dialogue at best. I can't help but be fairly disappointed in Strange Days, and yet I can't exactly say the film is bad. If you are looking for a slightly more thoughtful 90s action romp, Strange Days will fit the bill fairly well. But if you're looking at the concept and expecting something deeper and more thoughtful, you may have to gauge those expectations much lower. I gotta be honest, when talking movies I was really looking forward to and comparing it to the end result, Strange Days might be my most disappointing film I've watched this year. I give Strange Days 2 stars out of 5. And finally...
Is he really dead?
Yes, Polly, he's really dead. It's just a side effect of a knife in the back.
Oh, Christ! Oh, Christ!
Now you find religion.
Shut up! Look at all this blood!
Now it's self-defense.
The Last Supper, directed by Stacy Title. The Last Supper is a stark reminder that the more things change, the more they stay the same. In 1995, the thought of a group of people who would kill someone for their different points of view, no matter how distasteful, would seem utterly ridiculous. But as many have seen in the past decade or so, that surely isn't the case. But in this bleak, dark comedy, the film runs on the logic that the concept of a group of friends poisoning conservatives for being immoral is absurd. For the first half of the film, where it feels like the laugh should be more present, the humor doesn't exactly land. For me, the main reason is that some of the actors aren't exactly convincing other than to be uppity, thin stereotypes. In fact, of the 5 friends, Courtney B. Vance and Cameron Diaz are the ones who seem to do a good job portraying their characters. The rest seem to just be annoying. It isn't until the second half when the film gets a firmer grip on itself and the concept starts to spiral into something more dramatic. Again, Vance and Diaz play their parts incredibly well, but now the other actors seem to get a hold of their characters when the film starts to hit a dramatic point. The Last Supper is a curious film in a specific way. It shows that our differences of how we see the world and how we moralize people who think differently has been as extreme back in the 90s as they are today. But as a film, The Last Supper is spotty in its execution, but eventually lands in a good center to be somewhat enjoyable. I give The Last Supper 2.5 stars out of 5. Alright guys, now that is it for this week's mini reviews for 1995. Starting on 7/11, I will be reviewing a film from 1995 every week until November, where I will then furnish a list of my favorite films of 1995. There's going to be a lot of changes on this YouTube channel, but tune in on 7/11 where I will review more films from 1995. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. If you didn't, please subscribe. And if you have questions or comments, go ahead and leave a comment whether you liked it or not. It just helps, you know. If you want my written reviews, you can go onto my letterbox at IamThatWiz, or you can go to my website at IamTheWiz.com. Thank you very much again for watching. See you next time.